Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We are talking to you today about love and marriage. Huntsville season 4, episode 2. It was quite a crazy episode. Not that actually, I shouldn't even say crazy. There was just a few things that I was like, and I want to talk about it on this live. Number one, we had issues with Melody. Again, unable to tell us what exactly she felt. Destiny said that was so, hurtful, or what Destiny said that was really kind of sending her over the edge. Um, also, uh, I want to also hear about the fact that um I also want to hear about the fact that, hey, Marceau, why did Marceau say to the mum, I'm not even say to the mum, why were you deflecting from answering the question? If the question is so simple, why do we not get an answer straight away? I'm so bemused by the fact that we don't get a straightforward answer from Marceau. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, yo, babe, it was a simple question. All she asked was, "Did you rent an apartment with old boy Martel?" All you had to say was yes or no, right? And you went round in circles. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well as the show goes on. Then also, I want to talk a little bit as well about dealing with the the girls sleepover date or whatever. I we had Tiffany situation. We then had Stormy situation. Just kind of escalating certain things as well. And then we had a conversation with um Maurice and Kimmi with, I think, her son as well. And so there's a few different points that we want to explore. We'll be on this live probably just about an hour. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive, massive, massive favor. Make sure you like it, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked and stay loaded. All right, let's talk a little bit about the first scene. We saw a little bit with what's his name? We saw a little bit with Martel and Destiny having a conversation, and he said of something again interesting. Again, I'm just throwing it into the cards again once more. He did say that Melody, would basically would discard anyone that's not really a yes man, right? And in this life, you do need people that are going to say yes, but you also need people that are going to say no to you. You need people that are going to be able to hold you accountable. Now, I can't say 100% this is absolutely true. I'm only going by what he had said. He made it clear to Stormy that, look, sorry, to Stormy, to Destiny, sorry, that this was going to happen. She's going to turn on you. She's going to make you feel some way. And then he said, "I says, well, look, he's never lost any friends." I don't know how true that is. You know what I mean? I don't know how true that is. But, I do have to take into consideration that point about Melody, in the sense of I can also see where she may be coming from, where she may be also trying to kind of auto-correct. In the past, if you allow people to take advantage of you, when you come to a new space, you become almost overcorrect, which is also understandable as well. Um, you know, and so I can also understand that in both senses, that she may be also trying to figure out exactly how to find the right type of balance for her relationships. I think with that situation that we saw with Martel talking to Destiny, look, Destiny again, I'm still confused. I'm still confused as to what Destiny said that Melody's really trying to stick it on Destiny being. I think it's more about the fact that she has a feeling that, or she felt like Destiny did a snakish thing talking to Tish. I think that's what it more about really is. And she's struggling Melody to explain this. Like, babe, you were talking here to Stormy, and she was asking you, what did you say? And you ain't said nothing. This is the second time. It's the second time, right? Um, it's the second time we've heard that you don't have a reason as to why you really are against destiny. I can understand probably with the more with the Tish situation, because obviously the fact that you guys have had history, but now you got destiny in the mix up too, and you can't explain what it is that you're feeling or what she said. Um, that it's and that for me is painful, man. It's like, yo, like if you can't explain it, then there's something deeper happening here. And maybe you need to examine that just to make sure that you're not overshooting how you feel. You know what I mean? Like that you're not going too far about how you feel, that you're not just reacting on feelings rather than even looking at the facts that are right in front of you. Because so far, on two occasions, you have been unable to state what Destiny said that really took you away, right? Surely you should be able to explain that. Surely it should be something that you can explain and say, hey, no, totally, yeah, no, I don't like this, because you said X, Y, and Z. So far, you've had opportunity and we haven't seen it happen. So I think what's happening with Melody here is an overcorrection. There's a over uh sensitivity now to anybody who presents anything of a threat. If there's any chance of there being a threat, she's nuking it early on. And so I totally understand that. Is when you've been through bad situations, when you've been through very, toxic relationships, you're really trying to find your balance. And in that, I have to give you that grace to say, maybe you're still trying to find your balance. Maybe you're still trying to find your equilibrium in being able to say, I don't like certain behavior, or I don't like people. If I see something that's going to be going towards what I think it might be going to, I gotta nuke it early. And so, yeah, I don't I want to give her that grace. There is also as well, and this is a good point as well here, which is, um, this situation is also as well that this could be an isolation technique. Doesn't want to be anyone to be friends with Tisha. Anybody that becomes friends with Tisha, that can then become a way of trying to get Tisha back. Because baby girl, let me tell you something. If I want to get you back, I'm gonna play some warfare. Maybe that's her way of warfaring. I don't know. It's problematic if that's the case. If she's trying to warfare in a way where she wants to make sure no one's Tisha's friend, it's kind of controlling if you don't realize it as well. And actually, it speaks more volumes about you. You know, it's unfortunate to see that kind of behavior if that's the case, that you're trying to isolate people from Tish when, to be honest, you should just focus on your friendship group and let Tish focus on her friendship group. If you have mutuals, that's bound to happen. You now know not to tell that mutual certain information if you don't want to get back to Tish. Simple. It's not difficult. It's not hard. That's all we're asking. Mm? All right, cool. Someone says she has not answered the question from when Kimmy asked to when Stormy asked. I hear you. Yeah, we haven't seen her answer the question. Kimmy asked her episode 1. We saw Stormy answer episode 2, and it's unfortunate to see that we don't get to have an answer from you, and I think that screams you reacting on feelings rather than actually speaking about facts. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to be able to differentiate between your feelings and the facts. If you're just going off by that's how I feel, you can miss the mark. You can miss the mark. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a shame really to see that kind of behavior from her in that sense, in so far in this particular season. All right, cool. Let's move on then from Melody. Let's move on to, well, I say move on to that. I want to move on to the Maurice and Kimmy situation. Maurice and Kimmy, because I'm Kimmy's for me is blowing my mind. They had a conversation with her son, had a conversation about he saw things on Twitter, etc. etc. Now, here's my first biggest thing. My first bigger thing about this is, Maurice, why did you have to lie about not being there? You've created your own mess. Now, I get it. Marsau has stuck it in you, and Marsau, has literally, um, you know, Marsau has literally, dug you out, right? But my biggest thing is, fam, why did you lie? And I need you to like the more I deep it, the more I'm just like, but what would be the point of you lying? Do you know what I'm saying? Right? What would be the point of you lying? And obviously we spoke about this first episode. Why obviously uh why obviously at the same time why at the same time would you then why would at the same time the Marceau then also put out the picture? So basically he heard you lie and then outed you. He also too is not your friend. I said this on the other episode. But my biggest thing about this situation is this creates a bigger problem, right? This creates a bigger problem because now that lie of you not being there, okay, all right, now comes back onto you about whether you actually were well behaved. You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah, Kimmy, yeah, I heard she said it in episode 1. She did say she knew who was there, right? But it's like, why bother trying to spin that tail? And if Kimmy knows, which we know because episode 1 said it, right? Why would you need to tell us the lie? Since, as you said yourself, you don't have to prove it to us. It's so long as Kimmy believes you. So then why lie to us and tell us you're not there? And this is when we start talking about, when we talk about our public perceptions and how they impact us, how we sometimes want to hold a certain reputation amongst public, all right, in order to show up as in a particular way. And when it doesn't fit the narrative, we change the story. Because again, we've heard him say, it don't matter what you guys think, what matters what Kimmy thinks. Yet you lied to us, not to Kimmy. I think that tells you everything you need to know. You are obviously very much concerned with public, thoughts, right? Um, I don't know. You know, I don't know, and it gets like that. But he's not the only one with a lying problem, right? Because we also got Mel, who's got a lying problem too. Okay, Mel be also lying too, baby. So you gave fellatio or you didn't give fellatio? Actually, no. Do you know what you received fellatio? No, you didn't receive fellatio, babe. I need you to make up your mind. Why do people spend time lying about things and then they're recorded saying the very first thing? It just doesn't make sense. Y'all ain't very good liars. Because if you're gonna lie, why is it on camera already? Why is it on camera already? You know what I mean? Like it's already on camera and then you lie, baby, right? Because you already preempting what Martell might do. Now I totally get it. You've been with Martell, who's also a very manipulative man, and I totally understand. You're already trying to think ahead, but baby, baby, my friend, oh yeah, don't go and say that you didn't do something when you know you did. Just say, listen, I don't have to say anything. Just say, listen, I'm not gonna say anything. That's it. All you got to say from that is, you know what? I think that's my business. Whether I did that or not, I won't say anything. Why then try to lie it out? You're only causing yourself more distress. So back to Kimmy and Maurice, because actually I was talking about them. You know, it was interesting because I was watching Kimmy's body language when they were asking the actual question. And even though that Kimmy and Maurice has obviously spoken about, she said they've spoken about this before, the marriage, and they've spoken about this after the marriage, about the situation. Even when her son was saying about the rumors that he saw on Twitter, her body language and reaction was a little bit nervous, right? And I guess maybe that's because her son's finding out. Maybe she didn't want to. Maybe she didn't want her son to, feel some type of way about the situation. I mean, he was pressing with some certain questions. It's you know what. Someone said this funny thing, but yeah, for me, I watched them and I was like, okay, they've obviously unified in their response, obviously unified um, in their brand and their image. So when they were talking to the son, I could see that they both were very coy together. It's like, no, son, that's not what it is. I was like, mm. Well, then we need to address some of these rumors that keep coming up, bruh. And then he said a comment, and Kimmy's face told it all. He made a comment that, well, if you listen to social media, they're talking about how, you are with Destiny. Kimmy looked at him like, what? And that's when I'm looking at him and I'm going, so, bro, people say certain things and you look at them like, what? I'll be honest with you. I haven't even watched other seasons. I think he cheated. I'm gonna be honest with you. I honestly think he cheated. I think he was out here in them streets. I think that he was out here doing the bits. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he was out here doing bits. Okay, and that's why the lie had to happen. And then he got outed by Marsau. Be honest with you. Yep, I'm gonna say it again. Let me quickly shift it because there wasn't much that had been onto that. And I really think that Kimmy is trying to avoid the reality of the situation. Like we said this from episode 1, but I really feel like they are literally trying to avoid the situation of the truth coming up that he was out here in them streets. I really do. I really feel like he's trying to avoid saying he'd be in them streets. Do you know what I'm saying? And for me, when I look at that situation and I hear what he said and I hear what she's saying, even when they're talking with the girls, Kimmy's even trying to play naive with Marsau now. I'm like, someone said, Kimmy's friend said, Maurice was sowing his oats. Lord of mercy. You know, uh, they were not married at a time. Yeah, they weren't married at a time, but it's still cheating. If someone steps out, you're still cheating. Like I think people are making excuses for trying to stay in relationships. Well, at least for them, they got into a marriage, so it's even different. They got into a marriage if she had that prior knowledge of what he did, you know. Um, and maybe he hasn't cheated since the marriage. You're right. Maybe he hasn't cheated since the marriage. Maybe he's cheated after the marriage. That's fair enough. But that initial one where he went on that trip is now coming up to haunt him. And that's what I'm saying to you, that telling the truth is so paramount because the lies will eventually catch up with you. The lies will eventually catch up with you. Okay, let's quickly shift on to this particular scene. I want to just deal with this and then I'm gonna get Lola on as well. But I want to deal with Tiffany and Stormy real quick. And then we'll get some more in-depth conversation flowing in a sec. Tiffany and Stormy, let me just say this. I'm going to say this again. 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 Listen, I don't know what Tiffany done the last season. I know I saw a little bit of the reunion. They were accusing her of not being very vulnerable. Fair enough. If you want to be if you're asking people to be vulnerable, you're not being vulnerable. Listen, hey, don't ask for vulnerability, and you're not doing that. Let's not do that. I'm not about that life. But I'm going to observe this moment that we saw on a level where I don't know much about each individual person. Right? Fair enough. First of all, the conversation between Tiffany and Kimmy was working its way magically, and they seemed to be making headway. They were having conversation, and they seemingly were having an adults conversation where they were trying to understand one another. Okay, nobody was being bitchy, nobody was being snide remarks, whatever. It was having an open-ended conversation. Um, and Kimmy was even, having a conversation. Now, one thing I didn't like what Kimmy did is she tried to slide it about if you're gonna say something, say you say that and hold it down. Don't slide at the end where you go, well, it's only because the person the commentator looked at me and that's why I said what I said. No, baby, you said what you said because you wanted to say it. You wanted to say it, and it's okay, right? You're about that life. You wanted to say it. Don't act. It's like, oh, everybody had the same thought in the room, and they looked at me. That's why I said it. No, 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 Kimmy, you said it because you wanted to say it, right? You wanted to let her know you're about that life, and that's okay, Kimmy. I'm gonna be for that. You keeping it 100, but don't pretend as if like you had no choice, and because he looked at you, suddenly your mouth just opened up because he's a demon headmaster and he controls you. No, baby, you opened your mouth and you said what you wanted to say because you felt some type of way, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But Kimmy's pretty much a straight shooter in a lot of things. There's only a few times where I feel like she dodges things. But so yeah, I give her a lot of grace in that respect because she often is the straight shooter. Even when Stormy came over, I thought it would have been even been smarter for her to say, we've had our conversation, and we've sorted things out. But to be fair play, she said, listen, hey, this is what we spoke about. I thought about the whole Commerce Chambers thing. I made that comment, da da da. And again, it was quite straightforward. What I don't like is Stormy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. In that moment, okay, in that moment, not that I don't like her. In that moment, guys. Okay, here's my reason why. You ain't part of the conversation, baby. Whatever beef you have with Tiffany, hold it after. These two are having a conversation first. Let them finish their conversation. Don't jump in there because now it looks like 2-on-1. And it doesn't need to be. You ain't got the same beef that you've got with that Kimmy had. So why don't you wait? Let her finish that conversation. Let it be done. Okay. Right. And then you can come in. And all of this making face stuff is frustrating and annoying. Don't come in there squinching and squanching your face, trying to make, that immediately sets people off on a bad foot. You coming in there doing all, like, babe, listen, I need you to crane your neck in and I need you to keep that face plain. You are not involved in the conversation. Whatever beef you have with Tiffany, hold it down and have your own personal one-to-one conversation with her and be a grown-ass adult about it. Don't come in there like schoolgirl playground, okay, all right, and doing those things. Now, obviously the energy kind of shifts when Stormy comes in. And again, for me, it was a very shady comment to make. Oh, wait, I thought you were are you still at Chambers of Commerce? Like, your tone for me is what sent it off that wrong way. There's no way you're gonna play that innocently. When people are trying to be sly, that's what they do. It's a tone. It's not like what you said necessarily. It's your tone, baby. And you set pace by having that tone, trying to split wigs with that comment. Oh, I thought 5 years ago you was like that. No, but babe, I'm no longer there. Okay, now it's clear that obviously Stormy and Tiffany really don't like each other because, fam, as soon as as soon as Stormy tried to drop them bars, we know what came back. Okay, the old girl said, "I am not 12 years a slave." Okay, no, I'm joking, but she said, obviously, listen, Tiffany then went on to say, that's like saying something that's 12. Now, I might have missed some context here, so I'm open to having a different thought. I don't know if 12 years means something to Stormy, or if that's been mentioned previously before, or someone has said something about 12 years or whatever. I don't know. I'm gonna take it from a surface level, right? It was definitely a cheeky comment that she made, Tiffany, and she was definitely clapping back. Okay, she was letting everybody know, listen, hey, listen, that's like saying something when you're 12 years old. Like, yo, man, like, it was a clapback, right? And what then happened was, and this is why I said I didn't want Stormy to come over, because then it became Kimmy and Stormy now on Tiffany. And Kimmy, you sorted out your issue. You know what I'm saying? You sorted out your issue. But now it's now unsolved. And we're back at square one. And this happened because Stormy came over with an agenda. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, you know, I think you know, I personally just didn't like the fact that Stormy set the tone of that conversation differently because it wasn't going in that direction. And that for me tells me a lot about an individual person. When you come into people's into environment, how do you set the atmosphere? How do you influence the atmosphere? And you came in heavy and unnecessarily on the back of somebody else's conversation. You know what I mean? So do you know what? I even give a little bit of grace to Tiffany because, bruv, the conversation wasn't about you, bruh. So I think even at 12, that 12 years old comment was really directed at Stormy because she actually looked in her direction after. And she was like, yeah, 12 years old. And she looked at her like, yeah, say something. Because I said what I said. Right. And then Stormy's like, well, you might need to go and get a drink then. I mean, the drink needs to be for you. But yeah, Stormy, if you come in hot, that's what happens. Oop. Yeah, now they're dragging your wig. If you just chilled, this, you know what I mean? Like, you might not have had this reaction from the individual person, but you came in hot. And so for me, you know, it was a situation that could have been avoided, but yeah, again, it's obviously good reality TV for some people. So I get it. It's one of those moments, but yeah, it was going well, and then Stormy just decided to take it absolutely left. Yeah, so my final thing is just quickly is this Marsau. Okay, listen, I said it from the first episode. I don't like Marsau's behavior. I really don't. And I actually think a lot of his behaviors are really detrimental. And you know what? I hate to say it, but that his behaviors remind me of a good grown adult A word. Okay, and I'm not talking about the one with the ASS. I'm talking about the ABUSER. Because way he moves, if someone can talk to your mum like this, yeah, I'm looking at Tish the same. I'm looking at you, Tish, now as well. I'm going, you are gonna allow this man to disrespect your mum the way he just did. Listen, I'm not saying you have to even lend her the money, but the disrespect that came from it is totally out of order. But that disrespect he has for your mom is the exact same one he has for you. So it's not even like, oh, you can say, oh, he's like that with my mom, but with me, he's not. No, 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 babe. He's like that with you and your Marge. Okay. And in fact, he's not even just with you, he's like that with his brother. He's like that with everybody. Marsau has no respect for anybody but himself. Okay, yeah, that's the only person he has respect for. And if this is the kind of marriage you want to stay into, right? Let's take out, let's take out, the fact that Tish, is being affected by this. But you have to think as well, kids in this situation. I will say again, kids in this situation. You think you're saving your kids by being in a relationship and staying in it, but the more bitter you become, the less you can give your kids. That's the honest truth, right? And the more they're going to remember, and it won't affect them now. It affects them when they're 18, 20, going into relationships, and they're not sure why they behave the way they behave in the relationships. And when relationships don't work out, they come onto YouTube and say, I need a man, and they can't find a man, and it's not working. And the reason why is because, fam, to be honest, they haven't sorted out their issues. And we all look at them like, yeah, you got issues. And they're like, I don't know, I had issues. No, you got issues, babe. I didn't know I had issues. Yeah, because they've never seen it. Because they've lived a life of dysfunction. And by the way, I'm not shading anybody. We've all been there. So we've all come onto YouTube and not realized we've got dysfunction. we've all come onto YouTube and realized, hey, I've got some dysfunction in my spirit. But yeah, so it's like I'm thinking long term. And again, I don't want to make it just without really realizing the context of, especially being a woman in this in a relationship, how difficult it can be as well. I don't want to belittle the fact that the thought process that might be going through her mind. When would I get someone else? Who would would there be someone else to protect me? Would there be someone else to love? Those are all valid reasons. I was going to say reasons, but thought process that she might be going through. I've invested so much time into him, and so etc. etc. But what will happen is your kids will look back on it and be like, Mom, why didn't you do you know what I mean? Dad was a douche. Honest truth. Right? Or better yet, all that happens is, your daughter grows up, she's like, follows the same trend of men she chooses, or your son grows up, he ends up being the exact same way. And there's just a repeated cycle of behavior. And so for me, I'm looking at it and I'm going, Tish, I want you to also have respect for yourself, because you're now sitting with your mum with Marsau, and he's not only just dodging questions, the brother's actually been insulting, right? And Marsau tries to drop these kind of condescending behavior. And it's funny because I actually saw this behavior months before this, when I saw him on a live when they were asking him about if he had cheated or not or whatever. And the same condescending behavior he used in that video is the same one he used on this particular episode today, right? The fact that, telling your mom, go and get me a coffee, then I'll give you the money. Do you know how mad that is? Basically what he was saying, this is, no, you serve me, I got you. Yeah, you serve me, I got you. You bow down to my feet, I got you. It's the implication. It's not necessarily what's being said. It's the implication. You bow down at my feet. You kiss my feet. You kiss the ring. I'll get you your loan. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, for me, I look at it and I'm like, this be problematic, bro. This be problematic. And the fact that, Tish is still trying to stay in this and take it and take it and take it. You know what? I'd rather have more divorces in this land. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know it sounds mad, but you think staying together solves issues. It doesn't. When it's not healthy, it solves nothing but adds more problems. And it doesn't mean that it will affect, like I said, it affects generations to come. Do you know what's so funny? And it's my last point, and I'll get later on. It was so funny. Somebody was on Insta today, and they asked a question about not being able to accept help from people, right? and I answered the question as to why he couldn't accept help, right? And I explained it. He said, "Yeah, bro, you got it on the nail." And I said, "Do you know how?" I said, and I said to myself, the funny thing is, do you know how many people are in that situation? Do you know how many people don't know why they can't do something? Do you know how many people grow up being in relationships and saying, "I don't know why I can't keep a woman or a man. I don't know why I keep choosing the same type of men or women. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why." And it comes from being in homes that are dysfunctional. I'm not saying even splitting up is going to solve the issue all the way, but what I'm saying is it actually stops a lot of the intense dysfunction that breeds itself in that child. You know what I'm saying? Like, because remember, they're learning lessons from the parents. So the more they see their dad in the capacity of the way they treat the mom, is more than likely going to be repeated. Gonna be repeated unless they become conscious of what's happening. So, I'm very, very disappointed in Marsau. And you're probably wondering, why am I being so hard on the men? I'm being hard on the men because generationally, how it affects people. We are leaders. And so as a leader, you're built to protect, provide, and serve. And if I look at it from a Christian point of view, if I look at issues from that particular angle, I look at it from the same thing as when God called Adam. And of course, Adam could also mean man, meaning both woman and man. So it's more than plausible. I'm not saying that isn't the case. But what I'm saying is he called Adam and Adam answered. Okay. So he could have been called a man in terms of woman and man, but Adam answered because he knew who called him. All right. And he asked him a simple question: Wagwan family, where you at? Yeah. Because that it was your role. That is your role. And since we're talking about us as men to wanting men to be men, wanting women to be women, then if you want that, there's a responsibility that comes with that role. And that's what you have to be understanding. So I talk to men in a way that if the relationship, you see, my last point, I said my last point was my last point. It's my last point, I promise. It was my last point. My final point on this is, the head, you see, you don't blame the body. Bear in mind, no medical conditions. You don't blame the body for being overweight. You blame the mouth that keeps eating food that doesn't know how to stop. The head itself is consuming food that is not of good nutrients oftentimes, and the person's ingesting it and it's affecting the body. That goes to say that if the man is the head, whatever you are feeding the body is now responding to. If you've made a bad choice in a woman, it would be you now, it not be there. Do you understand? Yes, she has to take accountability because she's accepted the proposal. Yes. But I'm saying to you, as a man, due to you being called a leader, unfortunately, this also lands on your head. You know what I mean? Right? A captain of a ship, the pilot of a plane. We look at the person who's in the head position. So, unfortunately, but fortunately, the privileges that come with being head also come with major responsibilities. So yes, I'm looking at Marsau more, especially as a male. As a male to male, I'm going to look at him in a different way. Not going to say that Tisha's getting a pass. I'm just saying I'm looking at him in a specific way. But let me get Lola on, and we'll have a conversation about the show. Yes, Lola.
Hey, what's up? Where do you want us to start first?
Bebe, you start where you want to start. Let me put my headphones in.
Yo, let me start with the two ladies you talked about before, right before. Tiffany and Stormy. So, Tiffany, they're coming for Tiff. So, if you don't know the backstory, it looks unfair that we're picking on Tiffany. No. Last season, Tiffany came in hot. The very first episode she came in, they were having like some kind of tea. And instead of them just talk about light stuff, she starts talking about Maurice's son, Monster. Like, oh, is it true that, Monster was vaping in the bathroom at a table full of like 5 or 6 ladies? That's how she introduced herself. So if they come for her, that's why they're coming for her, and they keep coming for her. And that's what they kind of did throughout the whole season. They could consider themselves transparent, but they would only talk about other people's stuff. Like, we didn't hear about, because she's married for the second time, and I think they have 2 sons between them. They didn't talk about that. It was always about either Monster or, Marsau's marriage. And so they've got it coming. So Tiffany, I can see. So the way Stormy did it, like, to a regular person, that wouldn't have been fair. But Stormi already knows the story and how Tiffany behaves. So Stormi has it in for her. And I love that Stormi's like, you know, she grew up from the streets, you know, she's made some money, but she's still about that life. So she will pop off at any minute. So I think she's a great partner against Tiffany, because Tiffany was misbehaving last season, which is why at the reunion, they were all coming. It looked like they were coming on them unfairly, but it wasn't unfair. Because the thing is, with reality shows, they always say this thing: leave the kids out of it. The thing is, what you know, the cameras are rolling. Nobody needed to know that Monster was found vaping in the bathrooms. Monster's what, 14 or 15? That should have been private information. But you said it at the table knowing that cameras are rolling. And everyone's, even what's her name? Kimmi didn't know. Maurice hadn't told Kimmi. So it's like that kind of set the pace. So it's like she needs to fix up shop, or not, she's going to continue to be a villain. So Stormi, she's like the new face with some money. I'm liking what I see so far. I can't lie. So yes, that 12-year-old comment, I didn't really get the reference, and I know what's his name, Carlos, whatever the producer is, Carlos King. He says that didn't mean anything, but it meant something, because as soon as she said it, you know, what's her name is really shady. Mel is really shady. She has these funny faces she makes, and she kind of looked like, what'd she say? And then Stormi, you know what? Hit dogs holler. So Stormi was immediately annoyed and then got up. So there's some reference to it, but I guess they want to keep it private, which is what Tiffany does again. Maybe that was some private thing that's not meant to come out because it meant something. It wasn't happenstance that she said 12. No, it meant because everybody was quiet. And that's when Kim said, oh, you're actually trying to social shade. You're trying to be smart or something. So it was, she meant what she said. So watch out for Tiffany. Tiffany can't take what she dishes out. Then all of a sudden she starts looking wet like a wet noodle. Oh, your poor woe is me. Nah, Tiffany needs some smoke this season, and Stormi's ready to deliver. I love that. I love it. Love it. Now, you talked about Marsau. You know, Marsau, right? So first season, I couldn't stand Marsau. I'm like, this guy's, you know, he's disgusting, he's this, is that. But 2 seasons in, you know what? Marsau is the villain you love to hate. I actually like the guy. Why? So this dynamic he has with Tisha. Tisha knows why she went there. He married her for a purpose. I don't know. Maybe he wanted someone who could say, sit down, and she'll sit down. Because Marsau is smart. Like, he be playing these Jedi mind tricks on this chick. And Tisha's like, oh, okay. Like the last confessional she said, it's like, well, it's my marriage. So we only know, understand what's going on. The only thing I disagree with, and I was like, because usually I don't have any problem with Marsau, was the way he treated his mother-in-law. But the problem here is Miss Wanda, Miss Mary J. Blige. Miss Wanda is an issue. Because on one hand, she comes in, she tells her daughter she wants money for a food truck. Okay, fine. You help in-laws. That makes sense. You guys are apparently well off according to what we're seeing. But as soon as you sit down, you start talking and he says something, because they always have this back and forth. Anytime Miss Wanda comes by, she's always making reference to what she heard in the blogs. And the thing is, I think as a mother-in-law, there's some wisdom that's involved. She is separated, but she has a boyfriend. You see, your daughter is married. Why would you put fire under your daughter's marriage? Because she's constantly causing friction. So Marsau knows how to play with her. So she's once again asking a personal question while the cameras are rolling. Marsau is not stupid. So he's playing with her like a kid and just going back and forth. So she actually only goes to that thing when she wants to get on his nerves. Because when he said that, yeah, I'll give you the money if you I'll write your check today if you go get me a cup of coffee. What? Any self-respecting human being will get up, dust the shoulders off, and walk out. Like, I don't need you to eat. But no shame at all. She goes in with him. They go back and forth. And then when she finishes and he doesn't answer a question and she's upset, she's like, oh, yeah, she's still asking for money. So on one hand, she wants to say something, do all this. And on the other hand, she's put her hand up for money. She doesn't have any self-respect. And that's why she gets treated like that. And she does this everywhere she goes. She's the only mother on the show that goes back and forth with the character. Like, we're not the same age. You know how Nigerians say, I'm not your mate. She's not acting her age. She's not acting like someone's mother. She's someone's grandmother, but she doesn't walk like that. So she doesn't get that respect. Marsau is wrong. It's one thing to treat Tisha the way he does, but the woman's mother, come on now, come on. You weren't raised in a barn. I know he wasn't raised in a barn, but he's so used to being a villain, he can't separate. Like you said, he did it to his brother. And the only reason why he did it to his brother is because from season 1, like I said, nobody likes Marsau. He's the villain we love to hate, but I kind of like him. I think he plays a fundamental part in this show. And of course, Maurice is the good guy, you know. He's always, you know, he brings peace. He's like a pastor, but he's not a pastor. So he always has to keep this, you know, appearances up. So it came out that they were in Atlanta with, you know, Coleslaw, who is whatever, Ariane Curry, who is Martel's girlfriend, or I guess baby mother now. And so it so happens that all the stories they've been telling before, like they were acting like they didn't know anything about her. They'd never seen her before. But then it comes up that, oh, actually, there's a picture and they went to Atlanta. So, of course, Marsau's used to being the villain. So he admits it. That falls in line with the character who he is on the show. Now, Maurice admitting to it is not, it doesn't fall in line with the character.
Yeah.
He's playing a role. Like, he's the good guy. He likes to be liked. Like, Maurice and Kimmi are like the favorite couple. Everybody likes them. And, but last season, it started falling apart with the monster story. So, of course, Maurice couldn't resist it. He had to lie and say, no. Now he got caught in a lie. And you know, Marsau is like, he's like, you know what? Like, oh, really? You're the good guy? Oh, you're the good guy? And throws up a picture. Like, he's just trying to put holes in his brother's story. Like, okay, you need to come down here in the gutter and in hell with me and just feel the heat. That's all he did. He just wants him to kick him off his pedestal because everybody thinks Maurice is this wonderful person. And Maurice, he's got this face, but I could see from last season that, oh, Maurice isn't all what we think he is. He actually has some dirt too. And so, yeah, that's why he lied. Like, he's still trying to keep up appearances. But if Marsau was a good guy, he should have kept his brother's secret, like right here. He didn't. And of course, the thing is, even though he was trying to throw Maurice under the bus, of course, he gets some smoke too. But like I said, he's used to it. For all we know, those rumors that, Marsau has a baby, he's got this. He's smart enough where nobody has come out yet. That's how much of a villain he is. Like, we really don't know if it's true. Like, he looks like he could do it, but we don't know. So I actually like Marsau. Like, he's one of my favorite characters. I can't lie, because he's consistently a villain and he sits in it. He embraces it and takes it. And you always need a villain on the show because even though it's a reality show, you have to make it consistent with a storyline. So it works. It works. I'm coming. Your clothes are in the washing machine. Okay.
They're dragging you to the trenches.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing you. What's your thoughts on Mel then?
Mel, first season, Mel has a way about her. And I feel this Mel is returning. So Mel does have this way, like the way she's behaving. She has a way she carries herself. Like she acts like she doesn't know what's going on, but she's playing a game. She's an executive producer, so a lot of stuff she does to stir up the storyline. But from the second season, when we started seeing what Martell was doing, and he was really cheating on her, the baby on her, there was a lot of sympathy towards her. So those characters that we kind of said that we had an issue with, we kind of swept them under the rug and we embraced her. It's like, oh, this poor woman, he's cheating on her, he had a baby on her. But now that the dust is settled, it seems like that Mel is back. Like, the Mel we see, like, if you think she's shady, she'll throw a rock and hide her hands. Like, she knows what she's doing. She knows where she brought Tiffany on. Like, everything is strategic. She's a very smart woman. She's not as innocent as she might make out to be. Yes, she's had a difficult time with her husband, but there's a reason why she was with him. Like Martell, when you look at him, like they kind of fit each other, but Martell went too far. So Mel is not innocent. Like, whatever you see that you think doesn't make sense, that's her. Because that's who she was first season. Because I know first season I thought she was kind of, because then she would pick on Tisha. Like, she did strange things. Like, one time she had Tisha thrown out an event. Like, that's like, why would you? It's not that important. Why would you have her thrown out the event? But she did. So with Mel, yeah, I'm just kind of looking at her. Like, okay, it seems, because I thought that maybe the whole experience had humbled her and made her see clearly that, but it seems almost like I'm waiting to see what is true. But Martell has consistently said that she has a pattern of disposing of friends. When you're no longer of use to her, she'll just discard you.
Yeah.
And it looks like that because first season, she was chummy with Tisha. That fell apart. Kimmi, it's so. Destiny was a friend of Martell's that they kind of hooked up with last season. They became close. Then all of a sudden, for no real good reason. So I know the only one reason she might be upset with Destiny is while everybody's talking about her and Martell's marriage breaking up and this happening, the mystery baby, Destiny had a whole divorce on us and we had no idea. So she might resent that she didn't put that on the show. But other than that, why not have a conversation in front of the camera and squash the beef? But there's constantly new beef. So maybe she thinks Destiny is no use to her. And so now it looks like she's discarded another person. So let's see. So now she likes Stormi because Stormi's, this up and coming businesswoman who's doing what she wants. So now what she does now will actually confirm who she is. If she isn't that person or she is. So Mel is like, hey, she has her ways, but I don't know. Sometimes life will humble you and make you see a little bit clearer. I don't know if that's what's happened to her or she's still Mel. So yeah, Mel is, she's right now, she's on ice for me because I'm just kind of looking. I know she's been through a lot, so that compassion is there, but she's doing some things I'm looking at like sideways, like, you know what, Mel, let's see how this goes.
Do you think with the Mel situation in terms of when she was talking to Stormi about the situation of her and Tish, what was your thoughts around that then? Because, you know, she was saying...
You know what? And I think this is it. So Mel's position is that, oh, you know what? I was walking and I heard them saying some bad things about me. Okay. So, and then Stormi, that's why she looks like a straight shooter and she doesn't look like she kisses anyone's butt. She says, okay, what did they say? She couldn't say what they said. So I think literally what she heard, she may have heard them talking, but in the emotion she was in, she was annoyed. So she's going more on emotion than what was actually said. Because what else could they say? There's nothing else to say. Like, you know, there's nothing else to say. And even another thing you will see that Stormi is real. Because Stormi asked her, she's like, what about that fellatio comment? What is that? Like, why would you say you don't know? She actually asked her, and then she brushes off like, well, I didn't really want to answer questions and So Stormi seems like a straight shooter. Like if she was, that's why I like Stormi, because Stormi asked key questions. Because even when she said, I'm gonna have a pajama party, and when she heard you're not inviting Tisha, okay, you're inviting Kimmi, cool. Yeah, well, you're not inviting, like she'll ask her, why aren't you inviting Destiny? Wasn't that your close buddy just 5 minutes ago? So yeah, Mel's version of the story, I don't want to call her liar, but I feel that just as a woman, sometimes when you get upset, in her mind, she's upset. Like maybe she didn't come off looking spanking clean at the reunion. So she was upset when she heard them talking, and so she resents it. But there's nothing particularly she can put a finger on and say, oh, this is what they said, and I resent it. If they reveal something later on, I'll be surprised. But even when she was asked point blank, she can't say exactly what was said. Destiny and Tisha are consistent that we were recapping the reunion. I was just filling, Destiny in because Destiny came in midway because she wasn't through the whole season. So she was just telling her what happened because she's not a couple anymore. So Mel, get as you be. Let's see what's going on with Mel. Like, let's see how it goes. But yeah, that's what I think about her.
Okay. You've been breaking it down, Lola. Breaking it down.
You've been following the season. This is my show.
It's a show. You've been following it. That's why I'm just sitting here like,
This is my show.
Be a thing.
It's a good story. It's a good reality show because the initial purpose of this show was to show 3 or 4 upcoming Black couples coming up. I think it's in Alabama. They're staying in Birmingham. Huntsville is Birmingham, Alabama, I think. And so it was meant to show them up and coming, successful, doing something with themselves. So they had this, they call it comeback group for 7 acres, all these things that happened first season. Anyway, it all happens that what they were trying to do fell apart. And then it so happens that the perfect marriage, because then, Mel and Martell were meant to be the perfect couple because they're both very good looking, but they're both a little bit sleazy. I just have to give it to them. That's why they match. So then, of course, then it becomes more interesting because the marriage is falling apart. There's a girlfriend he's been with for 5 years. That all these moving pieces, and all of a sudden, it's like Carlos King is happy right now. He's got a hot show on his hands with another show coming up. So so that's why I like the show because it's actually real. It actually shows real things other than the people pretending. Marsau is like, I know what you said about, and it is true. You can't sugarcoat it. Marsau is what you said he is and what you think he is, but he gets away with it because Tisha wants, I don't want to say she wants something easy because nobody wants a hard life, but there's certain things Tisha's not ready to give up or to be. Yeah. And so she's going to put up with it because she knew. In fact, he's better now. When in the beginning of the
first season, he was awful.
He didn't want her to work. He wanted her at home, taking care of the kids. Like that's like he was very onto these gender role things. So it's like, okay, so she came up, she did her master's, she did this, and he's somewhat like embraced that. But he's probably even a little better than he was. Now, her surprising him with this, she tried to take him for therapy with Dr. Francis is the doctor for the whole cast. But she said, let's go for lunch or something, and surprises him with going to therapy. Nobody wants to be surprised with therapy. And Marsau knows what he's doing, so why would he want to go to therapy? Marsau is extremely intelligent, like most of these people are. He's extremely intelligent, and he wants the moving pieces to move the way he wants them to move. I'll give him that. Like, I can't be mad at him because Tisha's taking it, and her mom isn't helping. So, it's like, if you're a willing victim, like, why should I be mad? I just need to enjoy it and watch it as it unfolds. That's what it is. So, and Tisha doesn't help too because she has her own way of being that can be quite annoying. So it's like, Tisha don't help herself. So we as the audience, we can't sympathize with her because one, she behaves, she acts like she can't think logically.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it. She acts like a child. Like she can't think logically. She can't put the pieces together and make a 10-piece puzzle. She can't put it together. And then she's wondering why we're looking at her funny. Like, sis, it's a 10-piece puzzle. Put it together. She can't do it, even with the masters. So yeah, so she makes it hard to sympathize with her. But yes, is Marsau who you think he sure is? But we like him. We like him. I can't be mad at him. He's definitely a fundamental part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. I can't disagree with anything you said, to be honest. Yeah, you've hit all the major points. Did you speak on Maurice and Kimmi? Did you speak on them them?
Okay, so Maurice and Kimmi, we spoke a little bit about them, but with them, so Kimmi is one of the women I like because she's a straight shooter. Two, she's not scared of any confrontation. She'll face you. She will face it and speak clearly. And even in the midst of something, she has an ability to be objective. Kimmi is mature. So Kimmi is older than the other women. I think she's probably older than Maurice a little bit. And that shows because she's beautiful when she doesn't look it, but she thinks clearly and understands how things are moving. Now things are a little different for her this season because, like I said, the last 2 seasons, they were the good guys. She had this great, because they got married the first season, had this great relationship. Maurice was busy, but anytime he was around, he was doting on her. There was some kind of misunderstanding about months to come, and little things which would happen in marriage. But otherwise, Kimmi came out spanking new because she was just like next to everybody, all those other personalities, she's sensible, she's down to earth, she thinks clear, she's fair, she's objective. So of course she comes out shining like a star. But now it's like, okay, things are happening. So with this thing about, okay, you know what, Maurice, did you cheat or not? Because Ariane Curry, who is the side piece or the side chick, had instigated or said on, what's her name, Tasha K's live that, what, they had been, all the guys were in Atlanta and they had women with them. So she not only implicated Martell, she implicated the other guys too, which is why this whole thing became important. And she described the girls that were with these guys as linebackers or something. I can't remember what she said. So now the questions now come back to us like, oh, really? These guys were with other girls that look like linebackers? Man. So Marsau, we're not surprised. We're really, Maurice, you had that too? And so that's when it's now. So the question now is, and I think what I heard, Kimmi saying on this last episode, because there's some questions to, did it happen or didn't it? Yeah. And I remember when her son asked point blank, the way she answered the question was pretty much something like, we both don't agree that cheating is wrong. Yeah. Now, when this Atlanta trip happened, I believe that they hadn't married yet.
Yeah, they hadn't.
So maybe she's using that as a qualifier. So she didn't say no, she didn't say yes. So if it comes out, the evidence comes out that, oh, he did cheat, then she could say, well, we weren't married yet, but now he's not going to do it. Something like that. Like,
that's what she did in the first episode. You're right.
And I think the two brothers have this in common. They have this thing or this ability where they'll say, oh, it doesn't matter. If they say it doesn't matter, so we should believe in it doesn't matter. So they both kind of try to push it, like ignoring the elephant in the room. Bruh, they've told us that you were cheating. Did you cheat or not? He hasn't. It took him a minute to say, well, no.
He too was deflecting in the first episode.
Yeah, he was. He's like, I can't believe you're asking me this question. I think was the question. I'm like, bruh, we're asking you because we saw the picture. Answer. So is it a possibility that is a possibility? Because that picture, they look really like leaning to the side, everybody's eyes are glazed. They didn't look right. They didn't look right in that picture. So they look like they're up to no good. So it's a possibility. Yeah. So Kimmi's now scrambling to, and I guess she's a little irritated that everybody's asking her the questions, but she's scrambling to stay above board and keep everything, a lid on things until she knows more. Because I think she said something like that. If there's more evidence, then she'll address it. So Kimmi is still one of my favorites because she's objective. Nobody's perfect, but she's the closest to a normal, smart thinking woman on that show. Oh, I mean Mel too, but Mel, the way she behaves, Mel is very smart, but the way she behaves socially is questionable. So yeah, Kimmi's my favorite. Maurice, I guess he's no longer the good guy. His secrets are out. So yeah, otherwise, last season we would have told you that was our favorite couple. This season is different now. And if you notice, Martell and Mel are both excited that everybody else is feeling the smoke that they felt. So they get a little giddy. I feel like they're almost instigating like situations to see as the others are falling apart. Like misery loves company. So they want to see the others feel the pain that they've been feeling the last 2 seasons. So I see them just reveling in it. Like Martell's having a great time. Like Martell came off beginning of this episode looking like so we know he's a good looking man. That's not a question. But even his energy was a little bit light. Like he's happy that people are suffering.
Yeah.
his energy was different. So yeah, let's see how this rolls out. But this season's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, especially about him feeling light. I guess obviously, like you said about Marsau, when you get made the villain and you're looking around and you're like, I'm not the only villain here.
Yeah.
And this actually, because I remember I caught that in season 1, or that might have been even season 2, when the guys were getting on Martel for cheating and whatever. And I guess obviously when people do that, then when they're doing the same thing you're doing, you're like, so y'all gonna have me up here strung up on the noose when you're doing the exact same thing, but you just haven't, your thing hasn't come out, so you feeling swifty right now, but your thing is close around the corner, and I think that's what we're kind of sensing with them as well. So yeah, I think misery loves company, but I also think as well, it's like, no, I'm not, like you said earlier on, I am not the only villain. Marsau, Maurice, you two have skeletons in the closet. Mine just came out. That's all.
Boom. Yeah. So let's see. Are they really all bad guys? Because the thing is, you know how they say birds of the same feathers flock together? And these are good friends. So it's like, it's becoming, because initially, Martel doesn't follow the guy code. Like when he first got put on blast, like he was singing like a canary, talking about Marsau has 20 girlfriends and like he would like, I was like, dude, like that's not guy code. You're meant to shut up. Like if you were caught, you stay mute. Like you're meant to go to jail with your mouth closed and serve your time and come out and still hold it in. But no, he was singing with a mic, like, yo, he got a girlfriend, he got a girlfriend, So it's now, we didn't believe him because we thought it was bitter, but the truth is slowly coming underneath the rug that, yo, unless he told Ariane Curry to say that, because he could have put her up to that too, because she might be, double spy, but who knows?
True.
We'll see.
I mean, yeah. I don't doubt that's the truth, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good show. It's a good show. It's entertaining. It's entertaining as I watch the dynamics flow. But with Tiffany, if you know Tiffany's history, don't feel sorry for Tiffany. Tiffany, like even with the the commerce job, the way Mel introduced her last season, she says, "This is my friend who works with." She didn't say used to work with. So we're all running with, "Oh, she works with." Then we hear she doesn't work with them anymore. It's like, "Ooh, was she fired? Ooh, like she's messy at work too." That's all we're like, "Oh, that's what she's like." Then she's telling us that she hasn't worked with them for 5 years. But Mel just introduced you last season as working with them. Like, how you not worked with them for 5 years? Like, we're confused. Like, so there are gaps. It's not making sense. And Mel looking like she don't, like, Mel is not even intervening. She's just looking, watching the fireworks. Like, she's watching.
Kick off. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the messiness.
So yeah, that's it. That's them for now. But Kimmi's my favorite. Stormi's coming. Like I'm liking what I see. I want to see what happens. Because Stormi's not like, she's ready. She'll give it to you whenever you want. She won't do a Will Smith, but she's ready. She's ready to meet you halfway. Like keep going. So no one's gonna mess with Stormi, I'm sure.
Okay.
Why? Who do you like?
None of them.
Who do you sympathize with then?
None of them.
Snap.
Yeah, none of them.
Like
I look at all of them and just like Tish. I'm like looking at Tish like, baby, if you don't fix up and open your mouth, you're gonna be here. Close mouth and get fed.
She's not going to. She's not going to. She knows. You know how when you sign a contract and you know what your deal on the contract was, like what you're going to come make noise now. You signed an ironclad contract, and now you want to complain about the contract you signed. That's what the situation with her and Marsau is.
Yeah, no, I remember that from season 1 that she was trying to change positions.
That's it. Like
yeah,
stop.
You're coming in as traditional, and then you wanted to switch it to modern.
Yeah. She was able to rock it a little bit, but sis, like. He hasn't changed. Marsau is consistent. He's not different. He didn't suddenly become somebody else. But she felt that's what she could get. That's what she wanted. She wanted this or she wanted that. So like sit tight. Like she said, close my ears and just keep my eyes on him. And he does those Jedi mind tricks. Like he'll do it right in front of us. Like we're watching, I'm looking like yeah. So I like Marsau. I can't lie. I actually like the way he operates. Like it's his world. He's making it work. And he seems to be a decent businessman because he seems to be building up. He's using reality show to build a brand, and that's what reality shows are for. So he's doing right.
Yeah, I'm sure. I find it hard to watch this show. I got through it, and I said,
"Oh, that's how maths is for me. Maths is like I can't get through maths. I can't get through it. I gave up. I gave up. Like I slept, woke up, and it still is. Come on. But this, that's suck it right up."
I'm gonna let you take over when I do these reviews. I'm gonna take it over. I think, do you know what it is? It's just, I think it's not that I don't like it. I do. I think sometimes I'm looking at a situation, I'm like, yeah, you gonna force that? Yeah, you really we having an argument about this, like, but no, I mean, to be honest, I think maybe because I haven't watched the 2 and 3 season as well, that probably would.
I know you're busy, so you don't have time to
I know
go
season
back
1
because it will connect the dots for you. I'm like,
yeah,
because I think season 1 was split into 2, so they had a lot of episodes for season 1. So season 1 was huge, and then there was season 2, which wasn't so big, and now this is this season. So yeah, but it's that you're right. Maybe that's just seeing as everything is kind of evolving, like how they started and where they are now is like kind of different. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think, and then just the drama of Marsau right now. In fact, but Marsau has always been. Again, I caught parts of 2 and 3. I didn't watch the whole way through. I caught parts, and Marsau was doing the exact same thing as well. I mean, I know he had a little beef with Martel at the time. There was the men are incredibly consistent with their kwashasem and nonsense that they bring to the table every single year.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them like, so sometimes I'm looking at them and go, I can understand why Martel might be thinking some way, because fam, I'm looking at you like, fam, y'all looking at me like I'm a narcissist, bruh. You want to see narcissists? You better look at Marsau and Maurice too, because they're out here doing what they're doing. It's like I actually get it.
They're a little smoother, because if you look at Martel, when you saw him as a couple with Mel, they looked very successful. They had it all together. Marriage breaks up, he's falling apart financially, everything. We wouldn't have known. So clearly, Martel got caught because he ain't that smart. Like he calls himself a contractor. Like he's the face of the business. And also, he didn't have the builder's license. Like, where they do that at? You didn't have your business and your ducks lined up. And as he knew he was doing all what he was doing, he didn't think he needed to get stuff lined up. No, for sure. Look at Marsau. Like, if he break up with Tisha tomorrow, he's not going to lose anything. And look at the extent of it. Look at Mel. As soon as they broke up, Mel took over the lease of the office they were in. Mel is in their old office, but now it's just her office. Like, she literally is soaring, and he's flailing.
He's flailing. Yeah, I've seen that. She was the brains of the operation. And that made me feel some compassion
for him. Like, wow, this guy he's literally crashing and burning. Like, that's touching. Like, this guy didn't have it together. So clearly, he ain't thinking that clearly. Like, he was just whatever he was doing. But those other two, the Scott brothers, they're sharper thinkers. That's why we don't know that much about them. And Martel's stuff is all on the streets.
Yeah. I can definitely. I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it. That Martel is of less intelligence when it comes to even playing the game compared to.
Guys saying the problem is getting caught. He was messy. Like if you're a player, there are rules. There's a whole book that he didn't read the book. He just thought it would be a great idea without even studying. It's like going, I'm going to be a doctor, but I won't go to med school. Like all of a sudden, then he wondered why blood is on the floor, and then now he's like, oh, what am I going to do now? Literally, because the others, it's like when you think of it more, the others are probably guilty too, but they slick. You're not going to catch them.
Yeah, they're much more better at hiding what they're doing. I know Marsau got slightly called out a little bit, but Maurice definitely is.
We don't have any evidence. So look at that. So yeah, it's gonna be a good season. And I think who else we talked about? I think that's it. Is that all of them? I think
it was the episode. I think the first episode was really good. The second episode was like it focused on a few parts, but it wasn't much that was happening per se.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I guess, no, it's true.
I guess obviously the cousin was at Mel's party. I don't know if you want to talk about
that. Right, that's kind of shady, but the thing is, it's two thoughts I have. It's like, I think it was Kiki or Coco, whatever the chick's name is. It's either Mel is like, I don't care, I'm going to live my life the way I live my life, or she actually trying to get a knife and twist it a little bit in Tisha. So it's like one of two. I'm not sure which one it is, because she's capable of both. She might just say, I don't care, like what you're not going to do, because I don't talk to you doesn't mean I'm going to cut off some of my friends. Or she's just trying to do that to make Tisha feel bad. She's capable of doing both. So it's like, that's when I saw, it's like, oh, you had a cousin here, but you didn't invite Tisha? Like, that's kind of messy. Then you spent half the evening talking about Tisha. Like, sis,
that was very
it's not
messy.
that serious.
That was a very messy move there, and I just think that was just it was just hella cheeky from Mel to do that, and it put the cousin in a very awkward position
That's
as
not out of
well.
character. But the
You
cousin
know, to
didn't. Hey,
answer.
hold up. The cousin didn't look that uncomfortable. The cousin's a double agent too. Did she look uncomfortable? She was chatting too. Chat, 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 chat. You're a real one. Be like, where's my cousin Tisha? Oh, she's not here. I'm see you later. Boom. Cameras are rolling. So there's accountability. Now she was chilling in the PJs. She's like, these PJs are smooth. And the food is, now I'm gonna say the food is good. Now that's not a real cousin. That she may not be on good terms with the cousin, or the cousin's just like, yeah, but I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm not saying that. Because Marsau said that Tisha was from the other side of the tracks, and it's just like he just been talking about her family like a dog. So that cousin is not giving me, she either they're not good, they're not like strong, because she didn't really seem really concerned that her cousin, her other cousin wasn't there. One, and then two, she didn't try and shut down the convo.
Yeah,
she wasn't like not, when they were talking about Tisha, she didn't try like, guys, she's not here, just try. Meanwhile, Kimmi didn't do that much, but in her confessions, like, you guys didn't invite this girl, but you're still talking about her. Where they do that? So cousin Coco, where her name is, she ain't straight either. And that's the episode in a nutshell. But it's gonna be good. I'm excited by it. I'm looking forward to see what
I'm looking forward
to do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Marsau and Maurice having that conversation, seeing if he's going to challenge him. Because I'm not going to lie to you.
Don't you remember the answer he gave him? They've been showing that clip. They've been showing it for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
now.
the one that.
Like, yo, why you do that? Like, well, if you didn't know, then you shouldn't have lied about it. Like he said, like he sat back and said, well, you shouldn't have lied. He's not sorry. He's not. In his mind, he's making him accountable. I'm your brother. I'm my brother's keeper, so I'm going to make you honest. There's no honor amongst thieves. There's no honor amongst thieves. Come on now. He's like, oh, you want to lie on my watch? Nah, my G, let me help you out. Like, I helped you. He really, saw how he sat back. He's like, well, you shouldn't have lied. He don't feel bad.
Yeah, that was a clear, again, that was a clear deflection, because he went into pushing it back onto Maurice. Although it's true though, Maurice shouldn't have lied. He should not have lied. It was a waste of time lying. But
he got wrapped up in his role. He's the good guy. That I guess they say that fame, particularly if it's good fame and people are the adoring public.
You love your wife, you're the model husband.
Yeah. Like they're coming out fresh and clean. So he got a little carried away. So his brother might be right. This might help him kind of stabilize and humble him a little bit. So he might not be far from the truth. I told you, Marsau is very smart. So yeah.
I get it. Well, listen, Lola, thank you for that. You came in and you set the world on fire. The audience loved it as well. So,
cool.
You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for episode 3 to drop. Then I have to get you back on. Obviously, I won't be here.
If I'm free, I'm on for you. But before I go, brother Kojo, everybody, if they haven't watched the Put a Ring on It after show that's on Mondays at 3 p.m. that he does with Dr. Nicole and Crystal,
love.
I'm proud of you, bro.
I haven't seen it,
I went to I've already gone to watch it, put some comments there, like this is fine.
I can't see it. I can't see it. It's blocked in UK. You can't see it.
Oh really? Sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna, but I can't even record it and send it.
No, it's right. They've sent it to me, so it's fine. But they sent me a copy, but I just can't see any comments or anything like that, so I don't know what the response is. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, we're enjoying it. This is the result of hard work. You've been doing this for years. People, this guy's been doing YouTube for years. It's only maybe in a couple of years people heard he's been my brother remembers you from when you first started. So you've been doing this for a minute. So this is hard work. You're tilling every day. Because some people will look at you like, look at this guy, he's got this accent, he's got nah. Kojo, you worked for it. You don't sleep. You do 4-hour life. I'll be tired. I don't even talk as much as you do. What were you doing there? You're doing the Will thing. You were talking straight for like an hour and a half. People cannot say that you don't work. The man that never sleeps. He'll do a live at 6 a.m. his time, sleep for 1 hour and do something else. And you'll see him on the internet streets. It's work. So you see the fruits of your labor, sir. So congratulations. We're proud of you. We're watching you. Don't forget us here. Like, my sis. But trust, I saw the comments. Everybody's so proud of you. Like all the comments down under the videos. Man, Kojo, big time now. Sir, we're proud. The fam.
I appreciate
When
that.
one family member comes up, just like Tony Braxton came up and he brought the whole fam up.
You already know, because if one eats, all of us gotta eat. You feel me?
And you know, it's that code. If I'm eating, we're all eating.
We all gotta eat, baby. You know what I'm saying?
But
Yeah.
yeah,
If I'm eating,
I'm
we all
so
gotta
proud.
eat.
I'm so happy. Congratulations, sir. Get some rest. Okay.
All
right.
Yes, sir.
Mineral Gang.
You know.
I really enjoyed this. But yeah, if I'm free, hit me up. I'll definitely come on.
I appreciate you. All right.
All right. Take care, sir.
My people, Speezy, baby. Listen, it's been good. It's been fire. It's been amazing. Why is it not clear? Why is it not clear? Oh, there we go. Listen, guys, it's been good. You know what? Episode 3, I won't be here next week, so I won't be having a live because I'll be in South Africa. But the week after, I'll be back. So we'll get back episode 3 and 4. Hopefully I'll be able to get Lola back as well. Oh my gosh, what my throat. I'll hopefully get Lola back as well, because she'll be able to kind of fill in the gaps where I haven't watched season 2 and 3. And so that will help as well with the conversation, and you guys get a more whole-rounded review around Love and Huntsville. Yeah, man. Listen, I mean, to be honest, look, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I'm tired of Marsau already. I'm tired. I was tired of him in season 1. I am tired of him now. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna wait and see what happens and see what I go on. And yeah, I'm in South Africa, guys. South Africa. So I'll be there on Saturday. So I'm, gonna be there for a week and a bit. So you guys don't miss me too much. I won't have any content coming out. So you'll be without me for about a week and a bit. Okay. I know you'll survive. When I come back, we'll have these interviews lined up as well for Ready to Love and get that flowing. Young and Famous African. Yeah, I need to watch it. So I'm gonna try and get that watched when I'm in SA. When I'm in SA, I'm gonna try and get that watched, and then I'll do lives, like a daily thing. Yeah, so we do it all in one day. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm back on the 12th of April, and then we'll start that whole show off. So yeah, after the 12th, we'll get that Young and African show for you guys. We'll do lives for it. All right. All right, cool. Guys, much love and appreciation. We're going to see you soon. And yeah, don't do anything I wouldn't do, okay? We appreciate you, baby. Miss